Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. I'm Cindy Daychuk with Queen Bee Creations. Yes, my shop is in the back is this messy. When I first moved in, thought I would never fill all the space, and now I am busting at the seams. It's kind of an organized chaos, I swear. That's part of the stash that you guys normally see, but we're gonna be working on this bench. So I don't have room in the middle of the room anymore, and it's off to the side, and we're just gonna work on it there. So here's the story. The French provincial bench, that video that I just did where we made a bench out of a bed, I had the lovely Larry, I think that's what he's going to be called from now on, lovely Larry. So the lovely Larry built that for me and did a fantastic job. Well, Larry was out shortly thereafter. He was out garage sailing and came across this bench. So let me see if I can take you down any possible bit lower. So this bench. I think that they're pretty common, pretty basic bench. They've got the lift up lid. This one doesn't have the latch to keep it there, but not a big deal. It's solid, it is in great shape, and he said, okay, so this is all he ever tells me. They were practically giving it away. Because he never tells me what he paid. He doesn't take any money. Like, you guys yell at him. He should get paid. So they just wanted it gone. In which case, it's got the typical scratches and dings, but it is solid wood. It was going to go to the dump. No. So the last one we did in French eggshell, which is a fusion mineral paint color. So this time I want to do this in the DIY clay-based colors, which means I'm not just going to paint it one color. We're going to be doing some fun blending. To start, we're going to start with Bohemian Blue, which is a very deep, dark, rich teal. It's this deep kind of blue color. It's so rich. It obviously has a blue tint, but man, it turns the most beautiful green tones when you get some yellow added to it. It loves to pick up and play with some of the turquoise colors. So we're gonna let it play. We're gonna give this the base. And so I'm ultimately gonna have 2 coats of the Bohemian Blue on. I don't have a plan yet, so I'm not sure if we're doing some transfers maybe on the seat. That would maybe be cool. Whether we just do it all paint, which would also be cool and kind of make a nice change, I think. Just showing what the paint can do. Okay, see, I'm saying that now and I'm kind of talking myself into it. Just showing you guys the beauty of the paint rather than another product, which makes it a little bit faster, a little bit easier, and certainly less expensive. And so for those of you that are looking at reselling, then you don't have the additional cost of a transfer to, reduce your margins. So here's the deal. You don't have to listen to me natter and paint, because I'm just going to carry on. I am using the Klingon S50, which is an awesome brush. Cleanups a snap with this, so I love it. The one thing that's beauty about this paint is I get it anywhere I don't want it. I can just wipe it away later after it's dry even. So I don't really have to worry about taping anything off. Now, I'm not going to paint the inside. It's in great shape. It can stay. I will paint this because we're lifting it up, and I will do just those top edges. So if you're wondering about those things, I will do that. Okay, just because we don't have a nice clean start on some of these edges and stuff. So the only thing that in any respect is the least bit painful about painting this bench is that you got the little picky work of going in around these suckers, right? But they're all straight edges, so it's really not a big deal. It's just a little more time consuming. Well, As so often happens, once I get going on a project, I've changed my mind. Once I started to see it and I started to really thinking about adding more color. I had tons of pots of paint out for color, and I decided I'm not going that route. So what I'm gonna do instead is I'm gonna paint those 4 inserts a nice creamy white by DIY, because we're gonna do a little decoupaging, and I just want the papers that I have in mind, which I'll show you on the next step, have a white background. So I want them to be able to show up better. So I'm just gonna get one quick coat of this on. And I'm not too anxious about perfection on it. I'm gonna get a bigger brush. Because if I mess up around the edges, I can touch that up later. But too small a brush, and getting a bigger brush. And yeah, I'm gonna get my paint on, and then we'll be back, and I'll show you what I'm thinking of from a decoupage perspective. Slightly different view here. I have the piece on its back. You can see that I just did a really rough painting of the white. It doesn't need to be perfect because I'm gonna be decoupaging over top of it. What I decided to do is I have these decoupage papers that I've cut down to size. These are the rice paper decoupage pieces from Jamie Ray Vintage. And I was thinking, okay, I've roughly cut down into size. It seemed like it would be good. I'm thinking not all of my squares are the same size. But, so I was planning on doing this. And I'll get some scissors to kind of refine it down. But I'm looking to fit them in here and just kind of giving a little bit of a floral template. These ones are kind of green, predominantly green with little other color, and both of these kind of have green with the pink tones. So I thought that it kind of balances out nicely. I am gonna pop out and grab some scissors first, since I found that, you know, I tried to cut these with my, whatever that slide cutter is, and it catches on the fibers of this paper. It'll be okay once it's decoupaged. But I had to do scissors, and I probably just didn't cut straight. So I'm gonna grab some scissors to be able to even this out a little bit. I'm not sure how much this paper sort of stretches a little bit once it gets wet. So it'd be good if it was down a little bit more to size. I have liquid patina from DIY that I'm gonna be using for my decoupage medium today. And it's used the same way as any other decoupage medium, right? Just paint it all on. And you can see this is way easier to do when I'm just doing top down than if I was trying to do this scrunch down, and this is on the side, much lower and much easier on my older back. I just want to make sure I get the edges and the corners. Those are the fussier pieces. And then we are simply going to take our paper, kind of line it up. It's nice and thick, so it's not like decoupaging with napkins. You have the opportunity to kind of move it around a little bit. And I'm going to just kind of flatten it all in there until it's nice and smooth. And I'm going to do all 4 of them, and then I'll come back and I will coat them. I have an idea of what I'm thinking I will maybe do to the rest of the piece. This is all just coming to me on the fly here. So I think what will happen is I will seal these with the decoupage medium, and then I will seal the piece as well with a top coat, with a liquid top coat as opposed to wax, because that will take the next step better. But we're just going to carry on and get all of our florals added in here. I wasn't sure how I would like the contrast between the dark blue and the light, but I'm actually kind of liking it. The only small little thing I'm doing and that I want to do is to add a little bit of subtle white here and there. So I'm adding some white wax into the creases, and then I'm taking a cloth with some clear wax on it, and I'm just wiping the excess away so that it sits down in the lows. So if you look way over here, you can see it just on the sides of those creases. I'm going to do it around each of these, right? Around each of the box edges, just to kind of soften them a little bit. We're going to wipe a lot of that away. If I get it on the blue, then I can take my clear wax, use that as my magic eraser. And I'm going to do it on each of these little spindles. Yay. And I mean, there's not tons of spots for this to go, but it's just a little something I had been debating. And here's where you could go with this. I had been debating just taking an all-in-one paint. So you'll see I have Casement by Fusion, and I was debating dry brushing over top of all of the blue, which would be a way to go. It's going to make it very rustic looking. I had also contemplated taking some milk paint in a white and doing that over top of all the blue. And because this is sealed now, chipping back to the blue, which would also be an awesome look. Instead, I'm going to leave it the blue, and then I'm going to leave those two options in reserve for, we're going to leave them in reserve. We'll see how it goes. This is our finished bench. Now, the little bits of white here and there, just kind of soften it. I get that they're subtle, but it makes a difference to my eyes. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to leave it as is because it's cute. It's got a nice look, a nice finished look. We'll see how it does. If I get tired of looking at it here in the shop, maybe it doesn't go, then I can do either some dry brushing of another color over top. I could certainly do a wash over top. I could do milk paint, which probably would be the way that I would go, is adding a whole chippy level and then having this blue as part of that crackle and what you would see with the chipping. So that's the ideal with it being sealed. So we can take it more rustic if it doesn't do well as it is. So I like sometimes being able to say, okay, I'm going to stop here, trial it as is, because it's super cute as it is. But if there's not enough interest, maybe the blue is too strong a color for people's decor, I can still soften it and I can go with the white. If it's good as is, terrific. If not, I still have options. And sometimes when you have maybe a booth or market that you're taking stuff, especially if you have like a booth or a store as I do, having some options in line for pieces that don't sell, that don't necessitate you having to start from scratch, is a good way to go. is a good way to go. So I'll get a good pic taken so you can kind of see it in its entirety. I love just the little pops of white, which you might not be able to see as clearly, but just give it a little bit of definition. It does mean that over here on the sides, you can see it a little bit more, right? So it adds a little bit more interest over there. That kind of starts to tie in some of the white of the front, so it's not a super distinct contrast. But, you know, let's face it, dark blue and white is a classic. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it does. I love it like this, but you know what? I will love it in other incarnations if I need to go that route. Let me know what you think of this one. Certainly a very cool transformation for a piece that did not sell in a fellow's garage sale and would have just gotten trashed otherwise. Definitely usable now. I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thanks for tuning in as always, guys. And until then, take care.